So I'm one of the co-owners of Detroit Dance Center. We are located in Midtown Detroit. And myself and my two other partners, Dominique and Jasmine, we all used to teach together. We taught dance together at a dance studio in Detroit. And we've taught together as I was a teacher, they were students, and then we all became teachers. And then the pandemic happened. And so we were kind of on a hiatus. Everybody was sitting at home in Zoom classes and everything like that. And it started off as just like a little playful banter, like, oh, if I had a studio, I would do this. If I had a studio, I would do that. And the discussions became a little serious and moving forward. Next thing you know, about a year later, we opened up our studio in September of 2021. And it was kind of weird trying to figure it out during the pandemic, but that's how we all got started.
Yeah, yeah. And what were some of the risks, I guess, that you felt, or some of the challenges that you faced in making that decision?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. The pandemic. That's really what it
Let's
was.
start there, right?
Yeah, it was really that. We were thinking, would parents want their kids to be around other kids so close? And, if we had classes, how many kids can we put in a classroom and, work on social distancing? So it was really unknown how the public would react, or we have students, starting in 2021 that would want to be in person and not have to do virtual dance classes.
Yeah, yeah. Chinonye, tell us how you came to decide to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah, so I always tell people entrepreneurship found me. And I say that because about 8 years ago, my brother came to me needing a natural deodorant. He was changing his lifestyle, changing his diet, and was going vegan. So he wanted something that was vegan and that actually worked. At the time, I studied chemistry in college. I also got my master's in public health. And so I was always been like tinkering with like formulas and things like that. So I was able to make it for him. And on this journey of making this natural deodorant, I realized that some of the chemicals in my workplace, I was working at a global automotive company at the time. I was making sure we were evaluating the chemicals that were coming into our plants. And I saw a lot of crossing. And so I said, if I'm banning this from coming into a plant because it's unsafe for people to work in a large manufacturing environment, then why are we putting it on our skin, even though it's at smaller doses, but we're still doing that every single day. And that's just compounding onto us. And so I was like, I just started doing more research. I started talking to friends and family. And when I learned about how many people were suffering with different skin ailments, from eczema to psoriasis, dry skin, being allergic, I was very shocked because I had never experienced any of that. And so I realized that my brother came to me for a reason, and I was going to create the solution. So that's when I created ILERA Apothecary. And the goal of ILERA is to make people feel confident in their skin. ILERA literally translates to health, and it's in the Yoruba language in Nigeria. I'm a first-generation American, and so really tying my roots, tying my education, tying who I am into a product that helps people. And so essentially that's how ILERA Apothecary came to be, and that's what we're about, growing confidence through skincare.
I want to talk about what some of the day-to-day reminders, I guess, that you get about the challenges that exist because of who you are, the things that might be easier for other people who start and own businesses than they are for you. Chinonye, I'll start with you this time.
It's interesting because in business, you don't know what you don't know until you come across that hurdle. And then you have to start figuring it out. And I don't have just like a dedicated group of people that I can go and say, like, this is what I'm dealing with. How can you help me, or where do I go? It's like I talk to one person, they introduce me to another person. And so it's like the time to resolve issues, the more that I'm like learning about business and getting familiar with it, it decreases. But you have to be intentionally in those spaces to even get that access. And I know, like, when I was applying for the Comcast grant for marketing, it was like, I don't need the money right now, but what I need is for people to know about my business, because essentially the money will come back from there. And so really just like understanding what you need in business and how you can make it work for you, even if it is something as a tangible dollar.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this idea that you need the support of other people who own businesses, other people who know what it's like to start a business. Linda, talk about how that challenge looks if you're an African American woman and trying to make a business work.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, one good thing about me and my business partners is that we are career professionals first and dancers second. We have that passion for dance. We love to dance, but we do other things. Myself, and I am an internal auditor, been so for over 20 years. My partner, Jasmine, is a chemistry teacher. So she works on all the curriculum development. And then Dominique is a project manager. So with those things, we're able to, work the business, put out, processes and procedures and operations and know about customer service. However, we struggled a lot with that marketing. So being able to use that Comcast grant to join other groups that are similar with, doing dance studios and how do you get students in and, bring in the babies so you can help them grow up within your studio and everything like that. So, that has been a struggle. And then on a personal level, because we are minority women, we're also mothers. So our husbands have had to take on the role of Mr. Mom, if you want to say, because we teach classes in the evening. So my husband is, running around, picking up the kids from school, dropping them off. And he comes home late at night saying, "Oh, I'm pooped." I'm like, "Oh, really? Isn't that so interesting?" So that's a challenge of just being able to definitely have that support system.
So I want both of you to talk just a little about the grant, the Comcast RISE grant. But also I want to have you give some advice to people out there who might be thinking about starting their own business and maybe apprehensive about the idea, maybe don't think that it will work or that they'll have the support. Talk about both of those things and how they kind of work together. Linda, I'll start with you this time.
Okay, yeah, definitely. With the Comcast grant, definitely the application process, I think, prepares a person, an entrepreneur, to be able to make sure that they have all their ducks in a row before they're hitting market. So it asks a lot of questions about, what is your budget? How do you foresee yourself, after 12 months? What are some of your obstacles? What are some of your risks? What are the markets looking like? So just those questions alone, if you don't have those answers to those questions, you might not be in that position quite yet to hit market, but it's not it's done for and you can't do anything about it. It's really like, this is what it's going to take as an entrepreneur.
Understand your why. Why are you going into business? Often I found that people have said they're going into business because they don't want to work for another person. But what they don't realize is that when you go into business, you get a lot more managers. You're answering to your customers, you're answering to your employees, your vendors, everyone. And so really understand what value are you bringing, why you, and what difference are you trying to make with your business?